first major.
Are we talking about the people?
We're talking about it.
Okay, well, I'm going to talk like this the whole
Please,
time.
no, don't do that, please. Jesus Christ. So, okay, we'll.
But I have gotten really good at it.
No, I believe you. So I guess we'll try to go through it in order, right?
What is the order?
So, we'll do no spoilers at first, and then we'll hit spoilers.
But it's been a month.
It's been a month. Some people still haven't had time to watch it.
That is their problem.
No, we don't spoil.
That
everything.
is their problem.
So
they have not watched it at this point. You did not want to watch it.
Okay, then spoilers. Right now, you're hearing it right now.
Okay, no spoilers. It is a great movie. Go watch it. We are waiting for you to watch it.
You cannot do that voice the whole time. I cannot handle this.
To tell you. It is Wakanda.
No,
forever.
my gosh, you're ruining the movie right now.
There is no movie. They are watching the movie.
Okay, spoilers.
Right now.
That's the spoilers.
And I just sound like everyone on there.
I think we have to understand when we talk about this movie that it's a miracle they made this movie. They only made this movie because there's so many people who enjoyed the character, and there's so many people who enjoyed the first movie. Because everything about this movie doesn't make sense that they would even make it. We have the main actor pass away. We had him pass away in the actual movie, and now we have to deal with. Literally, the theme of this movie is grief.
Yeah, it's a sad movie.
It's a real sad movie.
Like that's literally all it's about. It's about just
it's grief
and sadness. Like
there's only like 10 minutes of actual like Marvel kind of like superhero type things, and even when it is, it doesn't feel good. It's not like
there's only one part of the movie that feels good.
Which part?
The whole scene when they're in America.
Oh yeah,
that's whole true. Section feels good until what happens.
Yeah.
Until the end of it.
Yeah. Like that's true. That's the only feel good section.
That's the only part that feels good.
Because even the final fight, it's like you don't feel good.
Yeah, it's messy.
Mm-hmm.
Not in that it's bad, but in that you feel everything that led up to that and everything that's going on with the characters still. You still feel that. Mm-hmm. It's not like they're winning. It's like
she like what's her name again? The Shuri reluctantly basically is taking on the mantle. She didn't even want to do the traditions of Black Panther. She does it. She has a horrible trip.
I think she had a great trip. No, I'm not going to say anything about that.
Okay.
No, something should say sacred.
Okay, so she had we'll just say she had a horrible trip. She came back from it and just reluctantly went into battle as the protector of Wakanda. And it's just, you feel it.
That was the best scene in the movie, though.
Which part? That part?
Her trip.
Oh, yeah.
Like, insanely good. Insanely good. Mm-hmm. And they did it so well in that it wasn't like just like a voice or something. It's the fact that
you're getting so close to just saying.
But I'm not going to.
Okay.
It's the fact that it was there.
And it carries over the problems from the first movie.
Yeah.
Because in the first movie, the Marvel always has a bad guy problem. In the first movie, the bad guy problem is that all the things that Killmonger said, they did at the end of the movie. Like, you should be, but they didn't use it to like take over all the white countries, basically.
But I think that first of all,
I know. I was talking about the first movie and the problems that are happening.
If our viewers are smart,
we're talking about what's going on in the first movie and the characters that have to deal with that.
They can put strings together like sewing. But anyway, I think that if Chadwick wouldn't have passed, I still think that scene would have been in there.
I don't think so.
No, I mean not like that, but it would have been something similar.
You think he would? Like he would have made an astral plane visit,
and he would have been there, and they would have had the same kind of fiery, heated discussion about
what's right
for the people, what they need to be doing, and stuff like that. Like, I still think that happens.
And then the end of the movie, it's not even satisfying, as in like everything's gonna be all right. It doesn't feel like that. It feels like Shuri is going to maybe continue as a Black Panther only because she has to. But she's kind of not. She's not. She's let go of her leadership in Wakanda.
But I love the king.
Mm.
He made a great choice there.
I hope that turns into something.
And I think that I think it's a sign of understanding that some things need to change. Because it's kind of like, in feudal Europe, I was like the kings were the generals.
Mm-hmm.
Like, a lot of kings have to die for us to think that's not a good idea.
Yeah.
That those things should be separate. And so that happening in Wakanda was like, yeah, that's probably a good idea.
But do you think M'Baku is not going to be a warrior king still?
I think he'll fight, but I don't think he'll be
frontline.
But he fought before, but he won't be Black Panther, so there won't be that target on him.
Maybe he won't be. I don't know. Like, I've talked about this before, but there's like a Batman time in the Batman comics where there was more than one Batman. Mm-hmm. Because there was one Batman doing global stuff, and then there was another Batman who was Nightwing just in Gotham. Just to make sure that, like, shit didn't blow up there. But
yeah, I think that's what could happen, because I was going to say, but he also stayed up in the hills for as long as he did. Mm-hmm. So I could see him just making sure Wakanda is good until... while this multiversal stuff is going on, him being in Wakanda.
I really liked the movie. I went through the emotional roller coaster, but even when I was watching the movie, I realized, this isn't going to have the mass appeal that the first one did, and there's going to be a lot of people who look at the broad strokes of what's going on. This is basically before the Marvels. This is the first female-driven superhero movie, mm-hmm. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, "Oh, this is wokey" or whatever, but it's just
literal 0% wokey.
It's just what it ended up happening.
If you just watch the movie, you won't feel it,
because none of them really want to be in the position they're in,
and none of them are like, "I am strong because I am woman." They're all just like there.
I think
it makes sense for everything.
I think if that was the case that they were trying to do, then when they had that fight on the bridge, she wouldn't have lost. What's her name? Oya. Okoye. She wouldn't have lost.
Yeah, Okoye.
Yeah.
She wouldn't have lost. No, she wouldn't have. She would have killed all of them in there.
Yeah, but she hella lost.
Yeah.
A big dude shows up and freaking knocks her the fuck out. But how does she end up winning? But she has a suit. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't love her suit. Let's talk about the suit.
It's comic accurate. So
it's comic accurate. I don't like. Okay, so her suit, and then what's her name? Kiri, whatever.
Kiki, I think.
Kiki Williams. I rewatched that clip, and it's not as boxy as I thought. But her suit feels like this. Mm-hmm. It feels like not, how Iron Man was like very humanoid and it was moved at all the limbs. Mm-hmm. Theirs feel like they don't move. They only move at the waist.
Well, they were only too. It was only like parts that they had. Mm-hmm. Like they were on a limited time. Remember, they built everything from the vibranium detector thing.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So it kind of makes sense. So I don't think going forward it'll. I think once we get into, I was gonna say MK Ultra. What is it called?
The
Ironheart.
Yeah.
Once we get into that stuff,
you think it'll look more natural?
Yeah, because think about it. Tony's suit was like version 50.
Yeah.
This is version 2.
It just that was my only complaint.
You gotta let things develop.
It felt like it just felt like almost like a exosuit, like a mech exosuit.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like to me, which doesn't feel like. If we're gonna go for it, you're gonna be shooting all these crazy blasts out of your thing. You might as well have like a sleeker suit that looks like it moves better.
Anyway, Namor was incredible.
Oh, Namor was fucking awesome.
And
my boy was he goes, but why does he have wings on his feet? I was like, that's just because he's a mutant. That's just how it. That's it.
That's the character.
That's it. He just does. He's like, oh, I get it though. He's strong or whatever, and everybody's blue and everything. But why does he have wings on his feet? I was like, that's just it.
It's because he's part human and part fish.
Yeah, and he's kind of based off of like that Archimedes or whatever, the messenger god. Mm-hmm. So
yeah,
wings on the feet.
Incredible.
That's fine.
He's incredible. And
they played it really well.
I love learning about them. Mm-hmm. Like a lot of people are like, "Oh, it slowed the movie down." It was incredible.
It was necessary to show like Namor is a character that is just about Namor and his people.
Yeah, and it wasn't like with that it would have been like, damn, this guy's really mad for some reason. Like, what's he so
he's
mad?
like, I'm fighting for what you're fighting for.
What's he so mad for? Yeah, it's like you got to understand that these people are heads and tails. Like they're on the same coin.
Yeah, two sides of the same coin. Yeah,
the story is about one of them.
Yeah, that's true.
And the other one is on the other side. They're on the other side, but they're on the same coin. So it's like the coin flipped, and now you're in their world, and you're getting what that's like.
Yeah, it was an interesting way. It was hard I think for me, looking at it, it had to be hard for them because we have an Aquaman movie that came out first. So it's like, where are we gonna take this? And then instead of doing like ridiculously fantastical, they did like Indian tribe underwater, and they try to keep it like as normal. The funny thing was like the talking was like they kind of like justified the talking a little bit in a weird way. But
what was the talking in? Wasn't it just sign language?
It was sign language for a lot of it, but then he talked to everybody, and he just talked.
Well, that's because he can breathe the air.
Yeah, he can breathe. But that's not how
it doesn't make sense sonically.
Yeah,
but it makes sense.
Not that I wouldn't think that he'd try to talk and he'd choke, but
his lungs process water the same way
that ours process
air.
This is a weird thing.
I don't know. It makes sense.
I'm glad they didn't kill him. Jeez, I'm happy they didn't kill him. He's too important in the MCU.
No, they should have killed him.
Then the crazy chick would have been in charge. The other thing too that they didn't really show are the characters that was around Namor are actually important characters that like they didn't really.
Like bodyguard number one.
They're like, who is this person? This is the person. Yeah, there's actually like important people, but we'll see them in the future maybe.
Yeah.
But I don't know how much money it made. I know it's not going to make $1 billion like Black Panther did.
No.
But it's just
I would even go as far as to say that don't take your kids to that movie.
Yeah, they're not selling toys for that movie.
They're not. There's first of all, okay, look, parents. There's no action in the movie. In 2 hours, there's a solid 25 minutes of action.
It's really like an emotional journey.
And 15 of those minutes is your kids are going to be wondering why Wakanda is being destroyed.
Yeah. Oh man, those water grenades.
Yeah.
All the trailers. I know you don't watch trailers, but the trailers where it shows like the water going into the throne room. It's like they're like, we're gonna flood Wakanda. How are you gonna flood Wakanda? That's way up there. I was like, how are we gonna do this?
Water grenades.
Water grenades.
Like, yeah. So just in your kids, they're not gonna understand what's going on.
It's surprisingly deep emotional stuff for a superhero movie.
Just don't.
It feels like almost like they just had to do the superhero stuff. It felt like that whole battle, instead of it being like two armies, that it could have just been those two.
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna duke it out, and it could have been just that, and it would have been fine.
I mean, that's what it was. It was like 5 Wakandans were there.
Yeah, it was, and then they're just. Marvel does a funny thing is like, yeah, all these extra side people, we're just killing them. We're just killing them. We're stabbing them, throwing them off. No big deal. And now the war's over. Everyone just go home. Right. No big deal. But it's a good movie. I really enjoyed it. It's a great movie
for people over the age of 16.
So what do you think about the last thing? After Rihanna sings her sad song and Shuri burns her funeral garbs.
Future Black Panther is going to be the son.
Yeah, and they just replaced. They recast it without recasting, which is fine. Mm-hmm. I think that was a smarter move. When he first passed away, I was like, "There's no way." And right before the movie came out, I'm like, "Okay, they could have recast it." Like I wasn't so like hung up on it before the movie came out.
Yeah, well, because the thing about it like this, even if they were planning this, right? If just like everyone else, all the first iteration of the heroes were like the contracts were ending, so we're getting the new people in. Even if they planned to have his son in there, it would have just been like, he had a son. He had a son with Nakia before the blip. Like, now we understand and it's real. So now they can do that without it being like a major plot hole.
Yeah.
A seeming major plot hole.
Because we talked about it before. It's like, how do you not have T'Challa in the MCU? He's so important. He does a lot of things. Just the way, just dealing with a lot of different characters, a lot of different storylines. That T'Challa is a really, he has the Infinity Gauntlet at one point. He's a part of the Illuminati. He's just a really important character. So they basically just brought T'Challa back. And
Yeah.